A while ago, I made a very negative review for the PSVR 2. I pretty much declared it the worst headset for Beat Saber. But a lot has happened since then, and honestly, now might be the best headset for Beat Saber. Let's get into it. As a competitive Beat Saber player, I focus mainly on the headset's viability in Beat Saber using PCVR with a PC adapter. And as you probably know, a PSVR 2 on PC can't access any of its unique features like eye tracking, HDR, or adaptive triggers. Not to mention the controller tracking, which is horrible to the point where it's nearly unusable, and the head strap, which is poorly designed and uncomfortable. But today, I'm glad to let you know that all of these issues have been fixed. Thanks to the reverse engineering efforts of Caitlin, Hecky, and Supremium, most of the features locked to PS5 have been unlocked on PCVR. You'll be able to access these features by installing PSVR 2 Toolkit, which will be free and open source and will be linked below once it's released. Let's start by going over the newly unlocked features, from least to most exciting. Nah, this one doesn't even deserve its own cool transition. PSVR 2 Toolkit enables runtime refresh rate changing, which means you can switch between 90 and 120Hz without restarting SteamVR. Next. One of the biggest issues with PSVR 2 on PC is the awful haptic feedback. Every action gets you the same long delayed buzz, which feels disconnected and ruins immersion. Beat Saber was better with no vibrations at all. With the toolkit installed, not only are the vibrations fixed, but they're better than what most controllers offer. The Sense controllers have PCM Vibrations, which give developers precise control to shape the haptic feedback. They could even sync vibrations to match in-game audio, for example, match your custom Beat Saber hit sounds. This feature already exists in some other VR controls, so you should expect to see developers using it. Another unlocked feature on the Sense controllers is adaptive triggers, just like the ones found on PS5 controllers. Actions like shooting a gun could have dynamic resistance in the triggers, making them feel more realistic. Though seeing as the PSVR 2 is the first and currently only headset to feature adaptive triggers, I doubt we'll see any games that support it anytime soon, at least without modding. Unfortunately, this one doesn't work on AMD GPUs, so I can't test it out yet, but I was told HDR looks great on PSVR 2. The support for 10-bit color means you'll see much less color banding, which is very noticeable in dark scenes. But this is all in future tense, because the PSVR 2 is the first and currently only PCVR headset to support HDR. As of right now, you can only experience HDR in Beat Saber, using a mod made by Caitlin which optimizes the game for PSVR 2 users. On top of HDR support, it will also feature adaptive triggers for UI, PCM haptics, and if it gets unlocked, headset haptics. The mod will be released alongside PSVR 2 Toolkit and will be linked below. I'm getting like 5 seconds when it's bright enough to film, then the clouds cover the sky again. I hate it. This is probably the reason you clicked on this video. Eye tracking works. This is great if you're a VR chat furry. And that's basically it. For real though, it tracks gaze and blinking and is currently the cheapest headset that supports these features. Unfortunately, SteamVR doesn't support eye-tracked foveated rendering yet, but I expect it to be implemented once eye tracking becomes more mainstream. We might also start seeing games use eye tracking to improve gameplay, like Horizon Call of the Mountain, which uses your gaze to help guide your arrows. Unfortunately, the eye tracking feature will not be open sourced. This is to protect the tool's developers from a cease and desist. Tobii, the company developing the eye trackers, is very protective of its hardware and has historically gone after open source projects that touch it in ways they don't like. Your computer receives only the processed gaze information and has no access to the camera, so you can rest assured knowing your eyes aren't being spied on. That's it for the unlocked software features, but before we get into the most exciting improvement, let's talk about this headset comfort, or rather lack thereof. All VR headsets in the up to $500 range come with the uncomfortable head straps, and the PSVR 2 is no exception. The whole weight of the headset lies on your forehead with no support on your face. The headset shakes when you're moving too quickly. Tightening it makes your head hurt, and loosening it makes it slide down your head while you play. The padding, both at the front and the back, is stiff and feels weird on your skin. But that's where the globular cluster CMP2 Comfort mod comes in. Globular Cluster sent me this unit and sponsored the video, but I get full freedom to give my own unbiased opinion. This comfort mod isn't an alternative head strap, but rather an improvement to the existing one. You get an improved front pad and a bigger adjustable rear pad, both with 3 different options for different materials and padding. You can also choose between a regular top strap, a padded top strap, or no top strap at all. I recommend you try out all the padding options and find the configuration that works for you. I decided to use this thick, grippy back pad and set it to sit a bit higher. It helps in keeping the headset in place and allows me to tighten the head strap without it getting uncomfortable. I of course picked the padded top strap. I don't know what it was that made Sony think they don't need a top strap when their headset slips down so easily, but this made a huge difference. It distributes pressure off my face and allows me to adjust the displays such that I don't lose the sweet spot after one Beat Saber song. Picking a front pad is difficult because they're all very good options. If you don't like your padding absorbing sweat, then the pleather pad is probably for you. Otherwise, the other two are very soft and are fantastic options. At this price, the CMP2 is on par with most third-party head straps for Quest headsets, and I'd recommend picking it up alongside your PSVR 2, just as a good head strap is a must-have for a Quest. If you're interested in getting one for yourself, there's an affiliate link in the description. Thank you again Globular Cluster for sponsoring this segment. Let's continue. Alright, I've teased you long enough. Let's talk about the improved tracking. My main gripe with the PSVR 2 on PC was the Horde controller smoothing. It isn't just bad for Beat Saber, but also makes throwing in other VR games awkward. Turns out the supposed motion smoothing was actually a mistake in the way predictions were calculated and could be easily fixed in the modified drivers. I got it tested out and the tracking is truly perfect now. You get accurate tracking with no noticeable swing bug. If you're looking to play speed, you can use predictions in SteamVR to increase swing bug. With the tracking fixed, all of my main gripes with the PSVR 2 on PC have been resolved. So, do I recommend you buy one? At $450 including the PC adapter, the PSVR 2's only real competitor is Meta's Quest 3. At its $500 price point, it has tempting advantages such as pancake lenses, a smaller size, lighter controllers, and standalone gaming. But if like me are looking for real, uncompressed and low latency PCVR, the only option that makes sense is the PSVR 2. But which one should you get for Beat Saber? Well, here it gets difficult. As much as I prefer the PSVR 2 in every aspect, I can't imagine any competitive players performing better with its controllers. The large tracking rings are very disruptive for most grips, and no grip really fixes the controller's weird weight distribution that leads to unstable swings. So if you're looking for a good VR headset specifically for Beat Saber in this price range, my recommendation would be to buy Quest 3. It has much smaller and lighter controllers and has proven itself to be a fantastic headset for competitive players, with many top 50 players maining it, including Gormer Guiche. On that note, I think we can take a look at the tier list and find a good place for the PSVR 2. Here's my Beat Saber VR headset tier list, with the latest addition being the Pimax 8KX. Now, I put the PSVR 2 in D tier, it's definitely going up from here. But where to? It's obviously not going in S tier. While it does beat the Valve Index on general VR usage, it does not beat it in Beat Saber, and neither does it beat the Quest 3. So I think the PSVR 2 should go into A tier, right behind the Quest 2. The controllers are worse than the Knuckles controllers you'll probably be using with the Pimax 8KX, but the headset is much more, well, usable and makes more sense than using this ridiculous headset. While the headset is superior to the Quest 2 in basically every single way, it just can't beat the controllers. Not that the Quest 2 controllers are that amazing, they're just way better than PSVR 2 controllers for Beat Saber purposes. So that's the finished tier list for now. I did get two new headsets, an HTC Vive and an Acer Mixed Reality, a brand new one. So this list will be expanded soon. Subscribe so you can see that. Thank you for watching till the end. This video took a lot of effort to create. It's honestly one of my biggest productions yet. If you enjoyed it, leave a like and I'll see you in the next video.